FedCap family. It's great to see you all again, hear from you through your emails all again. It's wonderful. It's great to also know that you're doing well and you're staying healthy in this COVID-19 period, which has been tough on all of us. I'm Keith Reid, Supervisor for Work Readiness Instruction with FedCap at our Bronx Grand Concourse location. As promised in a previous video, we will want to start our 7-week series on Financial Fridays. So going forward over the next several weeks, we will be having these lessons, and this is the first in a series of 7. Today, we'll start with mutual funds, understanding what a mutual fund is and how to invest in those. I've gotten a lot of questions over the last 2 years since I've been doing Financial Fridays for FedCap within our FedCap classrooms. What exactly is a mutual fund? So let's tackle that question first. A mutual fund is basically just a pool of money where people can invest their earnings into pools of money, stocks, and bonds. Those are the ingredients in a mutual fund. And all of you who buy shares in that mutual fund, also through the purchase of those shares, you end up owning a piece of that mutual fund, pursuant to how much you invest. The more money you invest, the more shares you own in the mutual fund. That's how it works. So they're also designed, they've been around a long time. Mutual funds have been around in the United States of America since 1924. That's a good 96 years. And they're a record for returning a decent rate of, return on your investment has been pretty good over that period of time. Full disclosure. At one point in my career, I was once a licensed mutual fund sales rep. So I've had to market and sell a lot of mutual funds over a long period of time. And it was a wonderful opportunity and a wonderful way to actually see America as I did from the standpoint of where people were investing before I met them. Most of my customers were investing in the traditional investment vehicles. What is that? Most of them were investing in savings accounts, certificates of deposits, and of course, they were saving in their own retirement fund. Very few of them were saving in a mutual fund for something they wanted to do in the long term. Long term. Mutual funds are just that. They are long-term investments. So you have to kind of be very disciplined about what you expect to do with a mutual fund in the long term. If you really are someone who can sort of suppress the desire to spend and consume and save long term to reach your financial goals and to end up hopefully financially independent, then I can tell you a mutual fund is the way to go. It's the way to go for the person who has no problem with being in it for the long haul. So how do you invest in mutual funds? It's fairly simple. You can walk into a bank and ask the person there to direct you to the licensed sales rep, and that sales rep will sit down and begin to put together what's called an investment profile on you. Let me say this. Any person or organization who wants to sell you a mutual fund and does not actually produce a profile, an investor's profile on you first before they take your money, please do not do business with that person or that organization. What's the purpose of having an investment profile on you before you cut a check to the mutual fund company? It will determine to the seller, to the sales rep, someone like I was, it will tell me and give me an idea of how much risk you're willing to accept. Some people are very risk averse. Some people are just not good with putting their money in the market and being concerned about whether I want to lose or win or what have you. So it's important for a licensed sales rep to get a pretty good idea. An investor's profile is something you fill out, you check off all the boxes, the sales rep will sign off on it, the customer will sign off on it, and then everything should be a go. Why do we do that? We do that when you're licensed to sell these things. You do that so that you can get a pretty good idea of where to put the money. So I'm a sales rep, right? What kind of investment would I put the average American person in? I don't know that until I do an investment profile on you and perhaps your partner, your husband, your wife, your partner. And I really do enjoy it because it gives me a really good, used to give me anyway, a really good idea on how much a person really wanted to place their hard-earned money in things that were, as you can say, a little riskier than something over here versus something over here. But the riskier the investment, oftentimes the rewards are very high. The not so riskier investments, the returns are pretty modest. And that's okay. That's okay. That's a personal choice. So this lesson, we'll talk about this first one. We'll talk about risk and reward, why you should be investing in for the long term, how much money you have set aside versus all of your bills. These are the things that you would sit down with a sales rep and discuss when you're at the point where you're ready to invest in a mutual fund. And as I said, a mutual fund is just this great big pot of investment, stocks, bonds, and cash. And every time you invest, I want to open up my 401k or my 403b plan today. However, I need you to explain to me where you think I should invest my money. What mutual fund on this list should I invest my dollars? Based on A, my objective of where I want to go, B, my age, C, my time horizon, in other words, when I will need the money back. So if you're, let's say, for example, you're a brand new New York City firefighter, 23 years old, and you plan to retire at, say, 65 years old. So you're only working somewhere 40 years in the field of being a firefighter, public servant. That person has an extremely long window to invest his or her dollars in the field of being a public service employee. That person is probably in the best position based on his age or her age to invest in stocks in the mutual fund that may be a little bit more risky. But say you're 40 and you become a EMT worker and you start to open up your mutual fund, your 401k mutual fund or a non-401k mutual fund. Now, your time horizon for working between 40 and 65 is much shorter than the person who's 25 working to 65. One's 25 years, the other is 40. So that person who is 40 may want to invest in things a bit more conservative, a lot less risky. That's what I would recommend. If I were marketing a mutual fund to someone who is a brand new EMT worker at 40, I would recommend a much more modest and conservative investment for him or her. But I would recommend something perhaps a little bit more aggressive for the person who's 25, who becomes a firefighter at 25. I actually would, because that person has the time, in case there's any gyrations in the economy, that person has the age and the youth at that point to be able to withstand that. And those things will eventually bounce back. The one good sure thing about the American economy is that it has always proven that it has the ability to bounce back and come back. And sometimes it comes back roaring back very strong. And people make a lot of money. Those who are willing to stay in the game for the long haul, which is what mutual fund share owners are supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be in it for the long haul. This is not a short-term investment. And I want you to understand that this is something you're committing to for the long term, not the short term. Even if you have plans on buying a home, long term begins at the 5th year out, 5, 10, 15, right? So if you plan to buy a home and you're saving for a down payment, a mutual fund is a good place to save for that down payment, because it may take you 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 years to actually save the amount of money you want to save for your down payment on your new home. So those are the kinds of things you need to know about investing in a mutual fund. Remember, compared to certificates of deposits or compared to a regular savings account at your local bank around the corner from your home, simply remember that your return on your investment, ROR, right? Return on your investment, ROI, return on your investment, right, is not going to be that great. And I don't think that those places are the greatest places to place your hard-earned money, when there are other places that you can, and simply because you've never heard of it or you don't know about it, doesn't necessarily mean you should not investigate it, and it also doesn't necessarily mean you should not invest in it. So the history with mutual funds, let me tell you, is very good. Over the past 75 to 80 years, they have a great record of having returned nice returns on the investment for their investors. They definitely help you minimize risk by spreading your dollars out within the mutual fund through asset allocation. And they also give you an opportunity to save at a rate that you can afford. Here's the beauty of opening a mutual fund. I've opened up an account for various clients over the years for as low as $35, $40 a month. And I've also opened them for as much as $1,000 a month. So mutual funds are willing to accept dollars in just about any amount, particularly starting at about $25 a month. They're willing to do that, right? And some mutual funds, yes, some mutual funds have investment minimums, and a lot of mutual funds don't. All you have to do is spend a little time researching, and you can always contact me, Keith Reid, at FedCap at our Bronx Grand Concourse location. I am available, or you can email me at kreid@fedcap.org. That's not a problem. I'll be happy to answer any one of the questions that you may have regarding any particular subject matter we discuss on our Financial Friday series. So I look forward to hearing from some of you. If you have any questions, again, you can contact me at kreid@fedcap.org, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have about mutual funds and beginning to help you set up your financial future so that you can work very hard and also have your money work hard for you toward your financial independence. I look forward to hearing from you all. Great day. Thank you very much for listening.